I'm Steve Brown with Spellmann and Associates, and we work with business owners such as Roger Lindley, and we're here to ask the 5 questions that I always love to ask a business owner. Roger, thanks for joining me. I guess the first question I want to ask you is, tell me, how did you get into this business?
Well, I started work on January 1st of 1984 at the local CBS affiliate with absolutely no experience whatsoever. There was the production manager at the time, the crusty old guy. I was working in construction at the time, and got to talking with the chief engineer who was there, and he suggested I go talk to this guy about a job, because so I had an interest in it, but didn't really know how to get in the business. So anyway, I go into this guy's office, and he ends up hiring me on the spot, and I suppose it's because nobody else applied. But so that's it. I started working part-time in '84, running cameras for the weekend news.
So when did you realize you had a knack for what you do?
That following fall, it worked out that I went to work there full-time, and they had replaced all of the management and began a new campaign. Because at the time their ratings just didn't exist, and so trying to redo things, get some momentum, and as a part of that, they announced that they're creating a series of image promos to help in that cause. And so I approached the general manager and said, "Hey, I'd like to have a shot at making one of those image promos." And he said, "Sure, go ahead and make yourself an image promo, And so I did. I went out and edited it, got everything done, came back, and not only did they air it, it won a couple of Addies that year.
Oh, really?
So, I kind of said, well, maybe I can do this. Yeah, and it's interesting because here in Amarillo, Texas, I've been exposed to a lot of really amazing projects. Early in my career, I was on crews for high-end industrial projects for companies like Valisys and Frito-Lay, Chevrolet, Texas Bankers Association, and Texas Instruments for a company called MLD Communication. A guy named Mike Desmura in Dallas ran it. And there was a connection. I was able to work on crews for those projects. And so that's kind of how I cut my teeth on high-end production. And it just kind of went from there.
It's amazing. You wouldn't think that Amarillo would be as connected to that industry as it is.
Well, that's really curious because Amarillo, I think, is advanced in terms of its production capacity. There, not just me. I couldn't do my job as well as I could if it weren't for some of the other resources that were in town. So Amarillo is kind of really up there, I think, in terms of the ability to produce good work.
So how has the internet impacted your company over the years?
Well, the internet has actually redefined an entire department of my company, where 70% of that business is producing YouTube marketing videos for small businesses. And, I already had established a high reputation with our brand in production here in Amarillo. And so just learning the SEO tools of YouTube and beginning to implement those has substantially increased our bottom line.
So what do you think has been the best decision that's impacted your company online?
Well, actually getting you guys to design and launch our new website. Because there really is trackable proof that that was a great decision. And in fact, the investment has paid for itself, I think, time and time again.
Wow.
Before we did the new website, we were getting, 150, 160 unique visitors to the site each month. Mm-hmm. And the month that we launched the new website, our traffic doubled. Then 2 months later, our traffic doubled again.
Wow.
We went from having 150 unique visitors to the website each month to well over 500 in a 3-month period. And then the hits to the site went from 1,200 to over 12,000. So a substantial increase. And that has translated into having tripled our workflow in that 3-month period.
So what does the future hold for your company, and what are you most excited about?
In December of 2010, Google reported that consumers who see an advertiser's ad on the YouTube homepage are 430% more likely to engage in a key brand activity on the same day than those who didn't see the ad.
Wow.
Now, of course, we're looking at the big picture, the Nike brands, Coke, and all that being placed on YouTube's homepage. But that shows you the power of YouTube marketing videos. You can't argue with that.
Roger, thanks so much for visiting with me.